The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. It's Nico De Haan here with my co-host, Paige Clarke.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You're doing great.
I am doing great. First, I want to mention it's about 80 degrees here in downtown Clearwater,
Cloudy,
Florida,
though.
folks. Yeah. And you can give us a call at 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the show and pick up my newsletter. It's $10 a month. You get 2 issues each month, and it's packed full of things you need to know to keep healthy, wealthy, and wise so you can keep on trading, folks, and that's the name of the game. Yes, I did have a great week. I got my black belt here, folks.
That's wonderful news.
Yeah, it was really a total surprise.
So, tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, what happened was we were at the dojo, a lot of people there, and, of course, this was the weekend that we're kind of back from
your big trip,
yeah,
the
from
Pan
the
Am
Pan
Games.
Ams. And so he had people show the medals, and then he asked all those people to step forward and kind of give a dissertation of what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu means to you. So I gave a little bit of a talk, and then somebody else did, and he had Tom Polito up there with me, who was another one of our brown belts, and he pulled out 2 belts, and he said, "I'm going to give you guys your black belts today." So, and then
you
all the
didn't
blood
have any...
rushed to my head. I go, "Oh my God!" I had no idea.
So it's really up to your professor.
Yeah, it's,
when he decides that you're ready.
Yeah, it's how often you come, how dedicated you are, and when he thinks you're ready. And I think he tells a lot by how you fight in the sparring and, of course, in competitions.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Well, thank you. It's a great achievement. It's kind of surreal in a way. One of the things that happens is you suddenly realize now you have so much to learn.
So do you go to different degrees?
There's 8 degrees in
Wow.
in the belt, and they're about 2 years apart for the first 4, and then they're 5 years apart. So they're not handed out, just for any reason. It's time related, but it's also that you're still active in it.
Okay, so we see you back when you're close to 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
for the
I might
completion.
get the next step is actually after the 8 degrees is a red and black belt.
Wow.
Then
Do you
there's
know anybody that has a belt like
It's just
that?
Carlos Gracie Jr. is the only one I know. That he's the head of Gracie Baja, and there is another belt above that, which is a red belt, a pure red belt.
Is there anybody that has that?
There's a few people in the world. There's maybe a dozen. I'm not really sure actually, but it's an honorary belt that's bestowed to you by the head of the whole organization. So that would be a huge thing, and something I don't even. No. One thing I did want to remind folks of, when you go to the TFNN site, if you're on a mobile phone or a tablet of some kind, or even on your computer, if you go upper right-hand corner, it says Get Tiger TV on your handheld, but it's actually for anything. So you just press that, and you're right on Tiger TV.
And that's whether or not you're on a tablet, an iPhone, or even your desktop.
Even your desktop, and you get the
Kinda nice,
live stream.
right on
You're
the show.
right in there, and you can see us live, so that's kind of cool. So, what did you want to talk about this week?
We've gotten some emails that had to do a little bit with, the paleo, the primal lifestyle, and having carbs, and will it affect their energy and their performance and sports. So we thought we'd just kind of banter back and forth a little bit with that. Wanted to talk a little bit about, are we supposed to eat these carbs?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something wrong? Are we going to suffer if we don't?
You're talking about from an athlete's standpoint? Or?
I think from an athlete's standpoint, but I think in general, the average person wants to know too.
Yeah.
So, we can talk a little bit about, one question that I had was that, hey, it all sounds really great to live a paleo or a primal lifestyle. However, I'm doing endurance sports. It's not going to work for me.
Well, that's one of the things. Of course, I was a runner.
Oh, you're doing endurance sport.
Very high endurance sport. One of the things when I was an athlete in running specifically from about 30 years on, I did the carb loading thing, especially if I was going to go for long runs, 10 miles or more. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that, of course, the carbohydrates produce the sugar that's needed for your muscles, and you need those, and you need to store them. Trouble is the muscles store a limited amount. It's stored in there, but what happens if you deplete that? What do you have as an alternative fuel?
And it's particularly in this culture where people are fat phobic.
Yeah.
So they're not.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing for the last 50 years. We've been told don't eat any fat. So we're really sugar burners. When we actually
become sugar burners because of our carbohydrates.
Exactly.
Where in effect we want to be using fat as a very efficient food source. And if you stop and think about it, I'm sorry.
No,
but
that's okay.
It just popped in my head. Think about how little grocery store shelving would be available if we really knew that we really didn't need 90% of what's in there.
Yeah, that's very true. And then we'd have to shift over to a completely way of thinking now how to preserve the things that we do need. Mm-hmm. Because you preserve those. In the olden days, we had salt, and we had the old ice truck. But even before that, you know, you'd dry the meat and you'd process it with your salts, or you'd brine it, or a lot of people would bury it under the ground. In Korea, I was talking to one of our trainers at my facility, Tom DeFiore, and he's a Pilates trainer, and they were talking about Korea, the North Korea and South Korea, and what the Koreans did. They came up with this stuff that they put into the ground, and they would leave it there for a year. And that's not only meat, but vegetables and everything like that, and they put it in
That
a
was
brine.
their preservation.
That was their preservation, but also they did it for soldiers. Because when they're going into battle, they don't want to carry all the stuff, so the stuff would be buried in these battlefields, and they just dig them up. Wow. And then it would be a year later, and they dig it up, and all the stuff would be all fermented and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's like the fermented cod liver oil that everyone would have a bucket outside their house.
Yeah.
And would put that.
Yeah. So we would have to think, completely different in how we take care of our food than we do now.
But I was thinking more from a political standpoint.
Yeah.
Obviously, if 90% of the food that we're eating, because you walk in the grocery store, just take that 90%, the center aisles, those are carb-based, sugar-based, processed-based foods.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they came out and said, you really don't need these foods. You don't need these for energy. You don't need them for endurance. You don't need them for health. You don't need them for brain power. Well, then there'd be a lot of companies that wouldn't be selling a product that generates profits for them.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest problems we have in our society because, corporations, they have an obligation to their stockholders to make money.
Right.
So that becomes their primary reason for doing business. So now if all of a sudden all these food companies say, hey, we're going to tell you the truth, folks, you don't need this stuff, and the companies go under and nobody works and nobody gets money. Of course, we're a money-based system.
Because you can kind of walk into a grocery store and you get your fresh produce and your fresh greens. You go over to the meat department, you get your meat, you go to your dairy, and you get your milk and eggs and cheese, and you can walk out the door.
Yeah.
You don't really need anything else.
No.
So how would you tell somebody who is in an endurance sport, whether it be something like you're doing martial arts?
They're doing a lot of testing in this particular area, and everything that I've read of all the different tests, they're now saying that endurance athletes can really do well on burning oils, burning fat. And it really does make sense, and there is a certain way of doing this because you have to get your carbs to a certain lower level.
It's a process to kind of make the conversion, maybe. Yeah.
Think of it, most people are doing it in such a way they're cutting out certain carbs, especially the high processed carbs. But if your carbs are too high, then you're not going to go automatically into that fat-burning mode.
And you're talking about whether it be the fat that you've eaten, like MCTs, coconut oil, medium-chain triglycerides,
or
your
the fat
butter, the fat in animal food, or your fat on your body.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tap into all of it once you're burning fat. But remember that insulin is the thing that stops you from burning fat because it kind of closes the door into the fat cells.
So we have to work
or opens the door, so it'll start storing it. And when you're storing fat, you have a harder time also burning the fat.
Right, and that's one of the things I do with people is I try and teach them to become. Most people are insulin resistant. They're not. The insulin's knocking on the door to say to the cells, hey, I got all this sugar floating around the blood. The blood level is high, your glucose is high, I need to get it in the cells, and your cells go, I'm ignoring you, insulin.
Yeah.
And so we want to be insulin receptive. We want our cells to be receptive to the insulin, let it out, get the blood sugar levels down. But the way we do that is by lowering our sugars.
Well, just think of an athlete now. I consider myself an athlete at a pretty good
Absolutely.
level. And what happens is I'm burning fat all day long. So, and remember, fat is kind of a nice, slow, even burn. Think of
Clear-headed.
Clear-headed. It's not like gasoline is. It's not like nitro.
It's like with your next
explosive.
meal, you'll enjoy eating it, but you're not sitting there feeling famished.
Exactly. You can replenish yourself, or you don't. You have enough fat in your body, so it's not important that you eat at this moment. Where if you're a sugar burner, it shuts down, and now you have no source of fuel at all. With a fat burner, you have that constant source of fuel, but now you also have a reserve, and this is the important part of the. You're never going to really deplete the oil, the fat.
Right.
Because you have enough. Even if you're an athlete that has 6% body fat, you still got enough to go.
And
So what happens when you switch over to, say you're in this heat of the battle and now you need a little extra, you go to the sugar for that little afterburner effect, for that little rocket fuel that you need to go a little bit further.
So what do you mean you go to the sugar?
In other words, your body, because the sugar is stored in your muscles, your muscles have immediate fuel handy. Okay, so you're burning fuel, you're burning the oil, but now you need more, so you make your muscles more active.
Glycogen.
And the glycogen, boom, is right in your muscles, and you've got that extra you need. Now, if you do the reverse, if you're working on sugar, and now you need an extra boost, it's only available if you have it there stored in your muscles. And if that's depleted, you can't go back to fat burning. It's very difficult for your body to do that.
And I think it's important for people to understand that from our proteins, so if you really ate no carbs and you were totally carb depleting, cutting them out, and you eat protein, you have some meat, and you have a salad, and with some olive oil dressing, just illustratively, from your protein, 20% of you can make...
Yeah, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but even if you eat no greens, no fruit, no carbs of any kind, your protein, part of it is going to be converted into glycogen to store in your muscles.
Yeah.
And part of your fat, too. Maybe a small percentage, maybe 7%, maybe 10% of the fat that you're eating will also do that. So your body really is a smart machine here. It knows what to do.
Yeah, you know that article, I was just looking back here, who was the guy in the 1900s that lived with the Eskimos, and he lived on the blubber and all the fat and fish. I mean, there's no vegetables, no fruits in the Arctic.
Vince...
and he came back...
Vince Gironda?
No, that's the bodybuilder guy. But this guy was in the article I'm trying to find. But he went to the hospitals, and they tested him to see what his health was, and he was in perfect health.
Yeah.
And this is typical of the tribes that live. There's probably about 5 that have been studied that don't live on fruits and vegetables, and they do great.
Yeah. Well, most of the things is if you go to a indigenous group and they say, what's there to eat? They say, let's go hunting.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, folks, we'll be right back. Pick up my newsletter while you're during the break. It's only $10 a month, and you get 2 issues each month. First and third Friday of the month. We'll be back in a couple seconds.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. And we had a question in the chat room. Larry says he can't see the feed. If you go to the top of the TFNN page under becoming a member, there's a little box that says Get Tiger TV on your handheld here. If you click that, I got it on mine. So hopefully, Larry, you can see that. Larry from Wyoming.
So thanks for listening anyway,
yeah,
Larry.
thanks for listening.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of just finish on this point. You know, we talk about the ideology of words, really. Protein. I mean, protein means most important.
Really?
That's really what it means.
That's cool.
So, we talk about getting our protein. We know that our protein will convert. We have the ability to break down, if we have good digestion, to break down the protein into the amino acids we need to make the natural brain sugar that we need. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, guys, the brain is made of fat. So is the lung.
About 40% protein and the maybe 40% fat, and the rest of it's carried in the carbohydrate form, which conducts all the electricity. And
I just know it's
we're really electric. We're an electric
being.
machine, being. So is the whole universe.
Yeah,
and magnetic. Exactly.
But listen to this. If you go back to medical doctors don't really receive training in nutrition. I mean, some do. They seek it out on their own, but most of them will tell you that they really don't get any classes in nutrition.
Yeah.
And they oftentimes don't understand that when, a meat eater ingests protein, and as the protein is digested, it goes into the liver, and the liver converts it into amino acids. We then take those amino acids, we convert them into natural sugars to feed the brain, and the body has a wonderful system of checks and balances.
Yes.
So, we're feeling real good about sharing the idea with the Primal Lifestyle that, you can get the necessary sugars you need from your proteins and your fats.
Yeah, you don't need much extra. And that's the whole thing that I've discovered through this whole journey is as I got into it deeper and deeper, I started eating less and less of, I ate no complex carbohydrates.
Right. And when we say that, we're visualizing grains and breads and pastas and rice and et cetera.
Yeah. And then I ate quite a few vegetables and a little bit of fruit.
And now you're becoming kind of Ray Peatish.
Now I'm eating less and less fruit.
And less vegetables.
And less vegetables, a little bit of vegetables. So I would say maybe 10 or 15% of my meal might be some kind of a vegetable. So it's mostly based around the protein and the good fats. And I always supplement things that I do with a little bit more fat, like in my coffee. I'll use the butter, I'll use the MCT oil, I'll use coconut oil if I need to, macadamia nut oil sometimes, olive oil I'll even put in there. And with my shakes, and I usually have that just before I go to jiu-jitsu, I'll have some great whey from grass-fed cows, concentrated whey, not isolated, because the isolated takes out some of the natural fats. We don't want that. We want the natural fats in there. Then I add a tablespoon of MCT oil, and I use coconut milk in it. Okay, so I 8 ounces of coconut milk, 1 scoop of the whey protein, a tablespoon of the MCT oil, and then I'll put a tablespoon of the cellulite, the whatchamacallit?
The Great Lakes gelatin.
The gelatin, excuse me.
Yeah, the gelatin.
And that's what I mix up in my protein, and that gives me, enough fuel to go through my complete workout.
How do you flavor it?
I have a chocolate flavor that I like, and that's how I use it. Some people use the vanilla, and I just like the chocolate flavor, and it has natural cocoa in it. So I mean,
so we're just kind of talking a little bit about some ways to get your proteins and fats in a easy, fast way, maybe right now. And
those are good things to do for breakfast if you're kind of in a hurry. I give myself an hour and a half in the morning to get up and do my oil pulling. Real important for me to do that because that helps cleanse my system. And then what I'll do is I'll make my sausage or bacon and eggs in the morning. I have 3 eggs with usually some sausage, some nice natural pork, and fry it in coconut oil. And,
or butter.
Or butter. And I'll have a little green mixture after that and my coffee, bulletproof coffee.
And so that's kind of, and you don't have a problem with hunger, and neither do I, and that's what we're trying to say.
It's
you get up and you start
to
have these good protein and healthy fat meals, you're going to feel good. This is another question, and being, a health coach, so to speak, a lot of people are like, oh, they think when they come in to see me that I'm going to tell them to eat everything green and fruit, and I do like vegetables and fruits, but I'm learning more and more that because the way we're designed, we absorb these nutrients better with healthy fats, or even better yet, when the animals that we ate them.
Yeah.
So, we can talk a little bit about that too. About can we get enough antioxidants when we eat animal foods?
Well, let's discuss that. Of course, folks, it's 877-927-6648 to like to join the conversation, or if you just have a question, and please pick up our Health Signals newsletter. We've got a great issue out, and next week we've got a great guest, Tony Hale, who's got a movie that's called Why Am I So Fat? And he's got several books, so this is going to be real interesting to hear from Tony. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit, and on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And we're really talking about the fat and protein and how to replenish yourself on a continuous basis the healthiest way possible. Angie in the chat room mentioned eggs and how often can we eat eggs, and you nicely told her that the eggs have been vindicated and eat as much as you like.
It's the perfect protein, actually.
It is a great food. It has great fat in it, and it's kind of a superfood. And I eat 3 every morning, 7 days a week. So, I mean, you can't get any better than that as far as...
And then we just encourage you to really try and see if you can get yourself a source of pasture-raised eggs.
That's
and
really
saying cage-free doesn't necessarily mean that. Sometimes this is marketing, and they have them have a walkway, but they're so jammed into a building or something they can't get out there.
Yeah, and they really do look different. If you could get 2 or 3 different kind of eggs and get the ones that are in the normal store, and then crack it open, and then put one that's like cage-free next to it, and then have a pastured one, you'll actually see the progression of the egg getting better and better. So
and the yolk kind of stays firm and real balled up, and is usually much more orange. Now, like over in Europe and Austria and everything, they don't allow fertilizers, and those eggs are like orange, like the orange of a rind of the fruit orange.
You can try other different eggs, like ostrich eggs or duck eggs if you want to, and they're all good.
So eat your eggs.
Yeah. And then we got a message from Mark.
Yeah, Mark, and this message, Mark was talking about ASEA Redux Signaling. ASEA is a supplement. You can buy it on the internet. I think it's sort of a networking, but it is an interesting supplement. What we were talking about, Mark, thanks for bringing it up, is that it actually helps with oxidative stress.
Yeah.
And helping the antioxidants that you have work better. So if you stop and you think about it, an endurance athlete or any athlete creates a lot of free radical damage. I mean, many times you'll see, we were talking about endurance runners. Sometimes they look older, their skin sags and everything because they create so many free radicals from this exercise they're doing. It's almost like an oxymoron. They're doing all this to stay younger, but they kind of tear their bodies down.
Yeah.
And
That's a whole different subject, too, which I like to get into because one of the things that happens is that there are things that we do, like those high-endurance things that almost is over the top, where you're creating too much stress, and it's hard for your body to recover.
And you're creating that adrenal stress.
Yes.
The adrenals can't keep up, and then you wonder why you feel worse.
Yeah, it's better, would be real high intensity, short duration, as short as 20 seconds, and your body is able to recover, and you're still tapping into that real primal source that your body needs to rejuvenate itself, and that's really what these the ASEA and all these different kind of compounds that they're coming up with are great tools that you can use. But I always look at it a different way. What if you're eating fantastic produce and fantastic meats and then use these things, or do you even need them?
Right.
Because we're really looking at the fuel is our food, folks. This is the fuel. This is like putting gasoline in your car. So the better the fuel, the better your car runs, and the same with us, especially us.
And we were talking right before we took this break, and we're sort of tying this in, Mark, is can you get enough antioxidants from your animal foods? Because, see, a lot of people that are eating the vegan lifestyle or making the smoothies and everything, and I like all these things, keep in mind. You know, their question is, am I getting all the antioxidants? Am I getting all those superpower food phytochemicals? Well, my question is, can you absorb them? We are what we absorb. So if you're having every kind of tropical thing in your smoothie, but you don't have the healthy fats to cleave the minerals and the phytochemicals out of those things, you're not absorbing them. And one of the things, you know, are we vegetarians or are we not? I say we were not designed to be vegetarians, because if we were, we would secrete the enzyme cellulase, and we don't.
Yeah, cellulase is what's in the stomach of herbivores.
Right. To break down your
alkaline foods.
And
so,
we don't produce that.
No, we produce hydrochloric acid. We're omnivores. We can eat anything. That's the great thing about
But we thrive on animal foods.
We certainly do. That's where we get, that's the basis. In fact, you and I, Paige, were talking before the show. What should you eat first? Well, it's your proteins and fats that you need to digest everything. And then the thing that you can eat is your salad or your greens afterwards, and your body's already into the mode of fat burning because of what you're eating. It's a real important in the morning to have your protein first. And then, like you said, the people in Europe, they eat their salads after their protein, don't they?
I think that's great. You know, we go to a restaurant and then they bring you your cocktail or your
first
drink.
They bring you your bread, the worst thing.
Yeah.
Then they bring you your salad.
Right.
And then the last thing is your protein.
And that's the complete opposite.
That's exactly right.
We should eat our protein because it takes the longest to digest. And you know, see, if you're all of a sudden hitting your stomach, which is where the hydrochloric acid is, you get used to being a carb eater. Your body starts to say, I don't have to make this hydrochloric acid, which is also our first line of defense against germs and viruses and bacteria.
And yeah, exactly. And because hydrochloric acid is a really powerful acid. I mean, you put it in your hand, it'll burn your hand.
If you could stick your finger all the way down to your stomach, your finger would be eaten off.
Yeah. So that's how it is. And we have protective lining in our stomach for that.
Right.
Cows and herbivores do not have this. The only animals that have hydrochloric acid are meat eaters, are high-level predators. So, and we can eat the other stuff too, and our body.
That's why we're omnivore. Omnivore means everything.
And that's why we survive so well, because we can eat everything. If one thing is gone, we can eat something else.
I'm into the whole word thing today. Omnivore means anything and everything.
Yeah, anything, baby.
But the truth is, we thrive on the animal foods because when we eat an animal that eats the food it's supposed to eat, we're getting all those nutrients that animal ate. The Plains Indians, we were talking about those, you know, the 5 or so different indigenous tribes that have the Maasai,
the Plains Indians of America,
Plainsmen,
what was the other ones?
the Rocky Mountain Men, and the primitive Eskimos.
Wow, Rocky Mountain Men. Yeah, of course. That makes so much sense. Those were the original hunters after the Indians. I mean,
exactly.
They survived for years, didn't see anybody else except for the Indians. So they learned to live the right way for sure.
Well, another thing you notice too is, well, let me just kind of finish this up for Mark. So the ASEA company, when it was first coming out, I happened to get to see the developer, and I'm not remembering his name, speak at the A4M convention, which is the American Academy of Anti-Aging, and he was so passionate in his kind of studious type of way. You know, I think a lot of his discussion was over the heads or interests of a lot of the people, but he's the one that really kind of patented this process and very passionate about it and having great results, particularly with athletes, but that's where we're going with this. Athletes create a lot of oxidative damage. This is something, and if you really look at ASEA, you're buying these bottles, and it's, I can't remember, it's sodium, it's like a sodium chloride molecule, and it's helping with reducing this oxidative stress. So I would love it, Mark, if you would call us and let us know your story. Maybe you can give us a call in, and I'd like to hear, you know, the results you're having. If you're free, give us a call, 877-927-6648, and we have time on the show. I'd like to hear what's going on with you.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
The thing is like you said, the stress is what we're concerned about, and you know, we can get stress from eating badly. You start eating lots of grains, and your carbohydrate-based diet puts a lot of stress. Along with all the other stresses that we have, the pollution that goes on in our society, our modern society today, the TV, electronics all around you, that creates stress. You have stress because of the stupid jobs that we have, and we have to go to work and do all this labor that you might not be interested in. That causes stress. You're having problems with your children or your mother or your father. That causes stress. So we have stress from everywhere. So why not eliminate one of the biggest stresses, and that is eating badly. Change your eating habits first, then work on a nice, easygoing type of lifestyle that incorporates some nice exercise. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to do jiu-jitsu. You can do moderate exercise, and those two things will relieve a lot of stress.
I agree.
You don't if you go too far into the exercise, you cause more stress too.
I want to talk more about digestion. Maybe we'll pick it up on the next show because it's kind of.
I think we need to talk about digestion too, because this falls right in line with the digestion, because we have so many people with problems like acid reflux.
Are we vegetarians or are we not? So if we're living where we're eating a lot of carbs and a lot of vegetables, and remember, the first line of breaking down. Well, actually, the first line is in your saliva. Okay, and just thinking about food, we start to secrete an enzyme called amylase, which is actually a good starch. It's an enzyme, but it really helps break down starchy food. It's kind of like an all-over enzyme, getting everything ready. It goes down the esophagus. We hit the stomach. The stomach must be acidic. I mean, it's like under 2 in the pH. You'll eat your finger off. This is where the first line of defense against pathogens, bacteria, food poisoning, you know, it's a good sign. You get food poisoning, you are not having par hydrochloric acid in your stomach.
Not enough.
There's a great book if you want to understand, because a lot of people assume that if they have acid reflux or heartburn that they're making too much acid. It is 90% of the time that is not true. You are not making enough acid. You're not making enough acid. You've lived on carbs and sugar. It doesn't mean you have to be alone, but your body has gotten lazy about producing or isn't being provided the raw materials to secrete enough hydrochloric acid.
And that makes sense in our society, because being a low-fat society, we try not to get the fat, so we don't need as much hydrochloric acid, and therefore your body stops producing larger quantities of it. So when you do go into a fat diet, so that's why some people have problems.
Well, right. So that's something I was going to say. You know, if you have been, say, eating a lot of carbs or more carbs, and then you go kind of towards more of a primal paleo, reducing the processed carbs or the complex carbs, and you may have a bout of heartburn and indigestion because your stomach has been on vacation about producing.
It's programmed the wrong way in a sense.
So we maybe have to give it some support with some stomach enzymes that help reminds your body to produce the
And that stuff
hydrochloric
really
acid.
works. Everybody that has had a problem with acid reflux that I've recommended hydrochloric acid with pepsin has had success with it.
I think we have Mark on the phone.
Oh, excellent.
Are you there, Mark?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Mark.
thanks for calling.
You're welcome. Thanks for addressing ASEA.
Okay, so you've tried the ASEA
6
supplement.
months now.
And tell us a little bit. You said that you've had some wonderful benefits. What were the problems you were having? And
Well, I had a very bad case of Lyme disease.
oh,
I was
okay.
diagnosed in June of last year. My knee blew up. A knee blew, overnight, size of a volleyball.
Wow.
And so that, was, according to a couple of rheumatologists I went to, they said that's you probably had this a while for that to happen. Usually it's like a bullseye. I never saw that. I just woke up one morning and my knee was, just inflated, and the allopathic doctors, all they do is they give you 21 days of antibiotics.
Right.
So I was prompted by a few people who were more into nature, nature paths, and I went to one who happens to be in the next town from me. It was like nationally acclaimed with treating Lyme, and
So did you find immediate reaction when you started taking it?
No, I went the nature path remedy for a couple of months. I was getting, I was stabilizing. I mean, there was like a 3-week period I didn't feel like getting out of bed. I was just
It's very
depressed and
exhausting.
Yeah, it poisons your
it does
body.
things to your mind, in your head or something.
Sure.
Lyme.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine who's been taking ASEA for about 2 years, he said, just try this for a little while. And within a couple weeks, I know my mood improved, my joints weren't as sore.
So it sounds like it was really cleansing your body of the things that were giving you problems.
Yeah, these spirochetes that are in your body, they come from the tick, and actually you get a lot of problems with this Lyme when these things are dying off. That gives you a lot of side effects.
Yeah, because it's kind of polluting your body.
Oh, and that's a good point. I want to.
And it's interesting you brought up bread and these other things. The naturopath did a food sensitivity test and took me off all these foods that I had because I was very sensitive. To
Most
that.
of us are.
Or bread, tomatoes.
Yeah.
The nightshades, right?
Yeah, all that, and I my stomach, I mean, it was pretty severe stomach pains prior to, after a few weeks of not eating any of those.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what foods you eliminated. So hang on. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back after that. Folks, please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I've got a new issue coming out next week, and this one right now is loaded with things you need to know about how to keep healthy and fit. And so please do that for us. And we'll be back with the last segment with Paige and I. So stick around.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. This is Nico De Haan on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and we were talking to Mark from Elliott, Maine. And before that, we were talking to Marshall in the chat room.
Yeah, Marshall, thanks. Marshall says, he likes hearing what we eat. And, well, you know what? We like to talk about what we eat because we like to eat.
Yeah, we like food. And, one of the things that we were talking with Mark about was eliminating certain foods. And I always find it fascinating that it's usually the foods that we automatically leave out because we're on a primal lifestyle.
Right. Isn't that interesting? The foods that are most likely to cause food sensitivities are your processed foods, your grains, your wheat, your gluten, and your nightshades.
Discuss what what were the elimination parts of the food that you were talking about, Mark?
Yeah, Nico, this sheet which I have in front of me, has, what they score it as to the things that were a 3 that I absolutely had to not have at all. And those were cottage cheese, garlic, gluten, black pepper, tomato, wheat, and baker's yeast. And then the 2s were egg yolk, oats, safflower, sesame, tuna, turkey, and brewer's yeast.
Okay. Very interesting.
Well, if you talk to doctors, eggs will fall into a category of an elimination after the gluten. Usually it's glutens and corn and soy and eggs are all in the high allergic. But keep in mind, the majority of those are people who are eating highly, factoried eggs, corn processed. Most, 80% of the corn in this country is genetically modified, so we don't even know if it's really corn.
Right.
But, all right, so that's good. So you've eliminated these things, and since we have such a small amount of time, maybe you can call us in another time and let us know how it's going. But I'm really happy to hear that the ASEA is helping. What it's doing is, with the redox signaling, it's helping to re-energize the antioxidants you have and help remove the oxidative stress. You made a comment that the die-off, from killing the Lyme disease, that's been a struggle. Isn't that what you were saying?
Yes. I mean, those, for the last 6-7 months, every couple of weeks I have a day or two where these, and the naturopath warned me about this.
Right.
You have a couple of days where you just feel sick to your stomach.
And this is because your body's trying to eliminate this stuff and having a hard time, I presume.
That's exactly it.
Well, the die-off is a really big thing with anything you're doing. Anytime you're detoxing or trying to get rid of things you don't need, as simple as that, we have a shortage. Healthy salt, Himalayan salt, or Celtic salt, and vitamin C, whole food vitamin C, are very helpful anytime your body's struggling to release toxins, dead bacteria, and so forth. And I wanted to just share with you, there's a website called Herbs of Light. And I actually saw the owner of that place speak. He cured himself of Lyme's disease.
Wow.
And he does have some herbal formulas, but his whole thing is he's really a Himalayan salt guy. And I'm sure that you could call him and discuss him, tell him, you heard about him on a radio show. But I saw him speak, and he was a really nice guy. And I'm going to tell you that I recommend whenever people are detoxing that they increase their salt intake, take Himalayan salt baths, drink it in your water, put it on your food, etc.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's, you said...
herbsoflight.com.
Herbs of Light, okay.
Hey, appreciate you calling us, Mark. It really makes the show much better when we get a call, so thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's great talking to you guys. It's really frightening because most of the allopathic doctors are oblivious to all this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let us know how we can help you, Mark. We'll talk to you again.
Okay, have a great day.
You too, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Hey, thanks for sticking around, folks. That's the show for this week. And next week we have Tony Hale, and I think it'll be a very interesting program. He's talking about weight loss and his experience, and of course the film and the books that he has. So should be a great show. So, Paige,
join us.
See you next week.
See you next week, everyone.
Okay,
be healthy.
thanks, everybody.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.